And if would you continue to vote to use all of that extra money that because of higher appraisals has brought in more tax money? Can you just address that issue? Okay. There's been much talk around the county about the higher appraisals of property. Tax appraisals have gone up, and the consensus of thinking is that is bringing more money into the county coffers, and yet it's all being consumed. And so, would you just comment on that? Does it with that growth of supposed growth of revenue, is it necessary that all of it been spent, or can some be saved, or whatever?
The Eastern County Appraisal District is funded by the state, and you know, I've noticed, I know most everybody's noticed their property taxes just go up year after year. There's a guy that works with us at Precinct 2. When he moved here, his property taxes on his house were $3,000. It was just, you know, a small house. He couldn't believe it, so therefore he's gone somewhere else, but to another house that he moved into. But Eastern County Appraisal District is state funded. They're making a lot of money, and I think that we need to look into that. I think we need to question them on and if I remember right, a couple of years ago, the idea was that if we increased property taxes, it would bring more people in from like from Austin area, and those type of, maybe not just people, but those type of homes to be built, big nice homes to be built. And that was their premise, was if the property taxes were higher, then it would bring in a more wealthy type of person to live in it, or however you want to say it. But anyway, I think that we need to kind of take a look at that at some point in time.
Randy Clark's office is subsidized by the state and by the county. We pick up a portion of that. We pick up part of their insurance, and the state makes us do that. There's a lot of burden still that the state is mandating and that is putting on us. I'm not saying this is a problem, and I'm not saying this is a benefit, but there's multi-millionaires coming in from Dallas, Fort Worth, buying these wooded lands up for $10,000 an acre so they can have a luxury place to hang out with their buddies and go hunting. And what that's doing is that's driving the cost of our property up. That's driving our taxes up. Because if this place next door is worth $10,000 an acre, your place has to be too. There's a downfall to all of it, and there's an upside to all of it. It depends on how you want to look at it. There's two sides to this coin, and it's going to depend on which side you want to step on. And you can make anybody mad talking about both sides of it. There's a lot of funding issues, and there's a lot of subsidized stuff that the county has to do for that appraisal district that a lot of people don't know about.
Well, I agree with Jason on this one. It is all the people out of the Metroplex and stuff. They're coming down. And they are giving big money for land that's really not worth that much. But if they're going to give it, and then they're going to tax it. So, and as far as I don't think it helps the county. Well, I guess it does help the county a little bit, but it's not really the county's fault. That's the state, if you ask me.
Mr. Gentry.
The appraisal district is it's a sore subject with a lot of us. When I moved here, my taxes were $907. I've never seen that again since I've been here. There's talk that the state's involved and the state's making them do this and that. When you go in there to talk to them, I've got 2 outbuildings that you could have gone to Sutherland's and bought for $650 a piece, and we got them appraised at $68,000. I've been up there 3 years in a row, and he just moves it around and does other things with it. So, as far as compare, you ask him, or you ask the office, you know, where do you get your comps? And they brag about saying Granbury. Well, we all know we're not Granbury. We never will be. We don't want to be. We're Eastland County. We want to come out that way. But you know, we've got to get the land is going to sell, but we've got to get the homes selling. That's where the improvements on the land is where our tax base comes from, and we've got to get that in check. When we do, then we can all, you know, I'd like to build a shop, but I can't build one without it coming out costing $3,000 a year. I might as well go rent one somewhere, you know, it's just taxes. So we've got to get the tax appraisal office has got to get into check.
Repeat the question again.
There has been, obviously, as has been commented here, there's been appraisal rates. The appraisals have gone up, which has in turn brings more tax money into the county coffers. And so, but yet all of that money is being used. We talked about how financially strapped the county is, and I'm just asking to address that issue. Is there sort of a windfall from the appraisals that the county is benefiting from, and so what has gone with that money?
Well, the appraisal district, for some reason, I don't know, here about 4 or 5 years ago when chief appraiser retired, and the ones in there now come in there and started, well, our appraisal rates started doubling or going up and everything, and it took about 2 or 3 years for them to get on everybody, you know. The appraisal district, which I like to see my place as high as priced as it can be and everything, because that means it's worth more. I give $30,000 for my place out there because I've had a few improvements on it, but now it's worth about twice that much and everything without the improvements. But the main thing would be actually the tax rate that is set off of your appraisal, what the appraisal list your property as. That's what's going to raise or lower your taxes is the tax rate and everything. As far as they're just, my understanding was that they wanted the appraisal districts, you know, to get all of Texas in line at the same rate of growth or whatever, where the Dallas had the same value as Eastland County had, which everybody knows that ain't even close to being right. You know, you can't do that and everything. But that's what the state was sort of mandating, in my understanding, when they started this, raising the appraisal value of the homes and land and everything else.
Okay, next question, Mr. Marks with the first respondent. The Commissioner's Court develops and implements the county budget and supervises the county's employees. What financial and personnel management experience do you have in performing such duties?
Like I said earlier, I've got over 15 years of budget experience. I've got 15 years of business experience that I can bring into this county, of how to manage it, how to maintain it, where we need cuts, where we need improvements. There's endless possibilities we could do. There's other counties in this state that are getting rid of departments. There's departments in this county that they're overstaffed, and due to the overstaffing in, I'm not going to name departments, in certain departments, gives the elected officials the out to not be in that office. There has been many complaints, and that's what brought on things from last year's budget, why positions got cut. I mean, there's a lot of things that can be changed. There's tons of things. It's an unlimited list of things that you could debate over. I believe my business experience will help with that. I believe my budget experience will help with that. And I just think we need a lot of changes, and it's everywhere from the dirt roads to the courthouse. It's everywhere in between.
The Commissioners Court develops and implements the county budget and supervises county employees. What financial and personnel management experience do you have to qualify you in those areas?
Okay. Like I said, back it's been several years ago, but I did serve on the school board for a couple of terms, and we had to set budget for the school board. As far as cutting, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see their taxes raised. Commissioners have got to do. It's not an easy job, that's for sure. Nobody wants to have to lose people or any of that, or not be able to buy equipment to work with. So it's, like I said, my experience as on the school board, I believe would help.
Mr. Gentry?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, sir. The Commissioners Court develops and implements the county budget and supervises the county's employees. What financial and personnel management experience do you have in performing those duties?
I've owned my own business for many years. I sold out the first time when I was 17. I've always had the budget. Money has not always been an easy thing to come by. The things that I've been involved in, buying and selling, construction and so forth, you know, you've got to budget and plan your money ahead of time. You've got to know where you're going to get your dollars to do your jobs. You've got to stay out ahead of the curve. We've got a budget that we can bring in and make happen for us. We've got a budget that we can see through to the end. In my experience, I feel confident about the position that we'll be able to handle this, and that, you know, we can bring prosperity to Precinct 2 and to Eastland County. Thank you.
My dad taught me how to work, you know, and when he did, he taught me the what a dollar meant and everything. So as far as saving money or whatever for what I need and wanted to buy, my dad taught me how to do that and everything. My place has been paid for the last 10 years. My pickup has been paid for the last 10 years. That's just because I've been taking care of it and doing the maintenance that needed to be on it. And that way, I don't have anything but my actually utility bills and stuff like that. That's what we have to be able to get the county-wise to do and everything, to where it's no debt or anything in that perspective and everything. We just got to be able to manage our money better and everything.
Well, I opened a lumberyard and hardware store in Ranger back several years ago, and we owned that and operated it for 14 years. And we had a budget that we kept intact each year. Of course, it wasn't anywhere close to as big as the county is, but the principles are the same. Also, I work with the elders at our church, budget for our congregation. That's the experience that I've got in that. And that's about it.
Thank you. I want to throw in one alternate question here of my own. What was the one major motivation or major issue that prompted you to run for this office? Mr. Griffin.
The roads. The roads were my main, it was the reason I wanted to do it. Like I said, I know that I can make the roads better. As far as the courthouse, I can learn it. But I do have 30 years experience as working on the roads and streets. So that was my main reason that I wanted to run.
Mr. Gentry.
My main reason would be the people. I love the people of this county. I love the way this county operates. You know, friendly, warm. We do things for people. We reach out. We do something for somebody that needs something. The roads, yes, that made me want to run. The water, you know, all kinds of just like the tax burden, you know, for the city of Ranger that they came under with Ranger College last year. You know, we've got to get to the bottom of these things and you know, seeing Lake Leon and the dam issue and everybody talking about it, but nobody ever pulling a trigger and getting something done about it. If we don't, we wake up one day and the dam goes, so goes all of our county. You know, we've got to have water to sustain. The property tax and appraisal concerns are something that when you meet somebody on the street, that's one of the first things they say is, you know, we don't have enough high-paying jobs here right now to be able for the average guy to afford $3,000 a year or $1,500, whatever that may be for his tax on their homes. So, and the ability to go out and create economic development for Ranger, Desdemona, and Precinct 2, Holden. We've got all the things, but we've got to have the mindset of the people to come together and let's all get going on one idea. Let's make it happen and create dollars. When we create dollars, we create happiness and we create prosperity. And that's what I want to bring to Eastland County, Precinct 2.
The reason I tried running or started running for county commissioner was I wanted to make a difference in Eastland County. This is where I grew up. I moved here, my parents in '58. You know, this is what I call home, is Eastland County over in the Ranger area and everything. I just want to make a difference, make it a better place to live, you know, and a more of a prosperous place to have it to where we can raise our kids and to keep our kids here at home, not let them have jobs for them so that they don't have to go to Fort Worth or Houston or Austin or whatever, these big cities. Let them have good jobs here that pays just like the Dallas-Fort Worth or Houston areas, you know. That's one of the reasons I wanted to run here. Anyway.
Okay. What was the one major motivation, or was there a major issue that you wanted to, that made you want to run for this office?
Well, I think really and truly it was coming back here after we had lived in Abilene for quite a while. We came back here, and the town that I remember growing up in was not the same town. And you know, it's disheartening to think of we had 2 grocery stores on Main Street. We had businesses that were busy all the time. lot of people. In fact, there was a lot of people during those years that went to Ranger to shop. Ranger was that big of a place, I guess. They had the businesses here that more people wanted to come and shop with them. Men's clothing stores, Montgomery Ward's, all those things. And you know, you hope that you can come back to the town that you grew up in and make a difference. And I've dreamed about that happening, and specifically Ranger, but throughout our cities here in Eastland County. Desdemona, I know they've really made some steps to have some businesses down in their downtown area and stuff. And something that would take time. It's something that's going to have, of course, to have a monetary valuation as well. But I think it would be good for the county. I think it would attract people if we could begin looking at ways to increase those values.
One of the main reasons I ran is for the 18,000 residents of Eastland County and their best interest. The things that I can provide for them to help them and make this a better county, like I said earlier, to raise your children, your grandchildren, my grandchildren. This is a place that we need to better. And secondly, why I ran is for change. I know every one of you in that crowd is scared of change. But if you look around, the only thing consistent in this life is change. We need change, and we need to better what we have. Otherwise, we will lose it, and we're going to look back and forget where we lost it.
Okay, well, that is 10 questions. There is one question left, and when I inserted mine in there, well, that made 10, so I'll put this one in. In your closing remarks, it would include this: why should the taxpayers in your precinct vote for you? And as each one of you has is it 5 minutes? Each one of you has up to 5 minutes for your closing remarks. And so you could probably include that last question in that closing remarks. Why should the taxpayers in your precinct vote for you? And so, but the 5 minutes is open to anything you want to say, any comments you want to make. And so, Mr. Gentry will begin with you.